Welcome. This is Micah Fairchild, Editor-in-Chief of HRLab.com, and today our discussion will be focusing on Infor Lawson, one of our final picks for the top 10 HRMS solutions. In order to get beyond our initial cursory review, though, I've asked my colleague, Chuck Schaefer, the CEO of Vantive Media, to join us today, help flesh out a bit more of what makes Infor Lawson HCM different, including where the strong points are and where we see deficiencies. So Chuck, thanks for joining us today. How are you?
I'm quite well, Micah. I was actually just reviewing the discussions going on at HCM.tv, and I'm really pleased with the community participation and feedback.
You can always count on me to give some feedback. Speaking of, let's give a little bit to our viewers in Infor Lawson HCM about their solution. Right off the bat, I think that we need to address the fact that Infor's 2011 acquisition of Lawson was considered by many to be a death knell. That doesn't really appear to be the case now, though. So what's your take?
I think the timing of Lawson's acquisition by Infor is instrumental in understanding Lawson's future with its new parent company. Lawson was acquired in June 2011, just about 8 months after Infor hired former Oracle president Charles Phillips as its new CEO. Infor is an IT applications portfolio company of over $2 billion in revenues, and prior to Phillips' arrival was viewed as having a lack of transparency, a mixed reputation, and a product portfolio that stagnated and seldom if ever delivered innovation. The products Infor acquired were generally older, legacy systems, heavy in technical debt, desperately in need of technology refresh, and without meaningful product roadmaps going forward. But after the October 2010 ad of Phillips, that began a significant change that is still underway. Infor has hired about 1,000 new developers. They've expanded their strategic partnerships with companies such as Salesforce.com. They've revamped some old products, and they've actually introduced some new innovative products. To bring this full circle and back to Lawson, while Lawson customers voiced justifiable concerns about stagnation and continued support from Infor post-acquisition, the reality is that Lawson's R&D and, more importantly, its product maturation and value have increased at Infor. In fact, in reality, Lawson was held back from significant technology advancements before the acquisition when former Lawson CEO Harry Debes chose to fight rather than embrace the move to software as a service in the cloud, and who even predicted publicly that the software as a service market would collapse by 2010.
Okay. So now that we've established that the joint Infor Lawson solution is viable, what about some more of the salient strengths? For me, Lawson's purchase of Enwisen for onboarding, that's created one of the industry's most impressive front-end talent acquisition solutions. It allows for new hires to become acclimated, managers to facilitate workflow actions, HR staff to automate some of the administrative tedium that's associated with new employees. It's impressive.
I'm with you on that one, especially considering Enwisen's best-of-breed offboarding solution parcel with that package. For me, though, I'd have to say that Lawson's attention to industry-specific feature sets, business processes, relevant reports, and compliance requirements is what has impressed me the most. More than just about any other HR software provider in the middle market space, Lawson has succeeded in creating industry-specific software and a vertical solution channel that is deep in domain knowledge, which makes it particularly well-suited to compliance-driven organizations and industries such as government, financial services, and healthcare. And as part of the progress Lawson has made in these industry verticals, I'd also like to mention that Lawson's mobile functionality is particularly strong and particularly well suited to those organizations needing location-agnostic HR software delivery.
Yeah, it's actually pretty surprising to me that a company like Lawson is not really viewed on the street as being all that innovative or embracing of newer technologies, has gotten so on board with mobile. They built out dynamic functionality via native iOS and Android apps that are completely appropriate for the mobile form factor. They've extended functionalities for manager and employee self-service, recruiting, communications, organizational monitoring, and all while offering a surprisingly good user experience.
Yeah, and since Lawson is largely built on the .NET framework and the Windows Presentation Foundation, users can get the advantage of a native Microsoft Windows application, which is a rather significant benefit to teams familiar and satisfied with the Microsoft user experience. That said, and looking beyond traditional desktop UIs, in my opinion, the user interface is lacking in terms of embracing the consumerization of IT and incorporating the designs, technologies, ease of use, and user experience from consumer technologies. And with similarly situated HR software solutions from Oracle, SAP, and Workday, all crafting rich user experiences, that could mean trouble going forward for Lawson.
Yeah, I suppose I would also add to the Lawson limitations, so to speak, that column, the fact that the company's database architecture is limited to single-tenant delivery. I think it was research firm IDC indicated this could pose a significant challenge to Lawson's release strategy and their achievement of economies of scale.
That's a valid point. After all, without a multi-tenant database architecture, provisioning application upgrades and new versions is cumbersome and clearly slows the pace of innovation as compared to native software as a service applications, which usually demonstrate innovative releases on a seasonal basis. However, SaaS is far less about technology and more about changing the procurement, delivery, consumption, and management of business software applications from the customer's perspective. So, since the value ultimately depends on what a customer's needs are, it's difficult to make a blanket statement that single tenancy is a significant limitation.
Fair enough. I suppose when you really get down to it, the whole single-tenant versus multi-tenant argument, it really seems to smack more of vendors jockeying for competitive advantage than the reality of companies simply looking to get rid of IT maintenance and management. As long as the software achieves business goals, it's constantly available and secure, most small to medium-sized businesses probably don't care about the differences of various SaaS technology architectures, right?
That's exactly the case.
All right, then. So now that we're bringing this conversation about the Infor Lawson discussion to a close, what additional tidbits would you think are necessary for would-be buyers to take away?
Just a couple things, actually. For one, while Lawson offers a solid HR and payroll application for middle market companies and select vertical markets such as distribution, manufacturing, retail, healthcare, financial services, and government, market demand for talent management continues to grow, and it's unclear how Infor Lawson intends to step up and accommodate this demand with broader and a strong talent management application software suite. So if a talent management suite is important in your buying process, this should be a focused area of due diligence. Secondly, business leaders evaluating the Infor Lawson solution need to understand that parent company's Infor technology strategy moving forward is in large part based on their middleware offering Ion, which is a competitive bid to shore up the company's disparate applications and address some of the technical issues of integration. And for the middle market customer, this middleware option is an increasingly looked-to solution for understanding seamless delivery of information, business process automation across departments, technical complexities, ongoing software maintenance, and total cost of ownership. Ion is not without its issues, but the benefits of this middleware strategy are that it separates business logic from the presentation and database layers. It generally makes solutions more scalable and fault tolerant due to clustering and failover response, and for the most part, yields better performance for high volume processes. And third, since we touched on it earlier, prospective customers need to understand that when it comes to on-premise, cloud-hosted, or a blended deployment model, there is no one best answer that serves all interests. Varying SaaS architectural strategies and opinions will favor one model over the other based on particular business objectives, technology philosophy, personal bias, perceived security, or even vendor marketing. It's therefore important for each customer to determine if a specific delivery model makes the most business sense for them, and if so, to then find the HR solutions that support that model.
Thanks for that perspective, Chuck. Well, I think we've covered just about all we can on the time we've had, but those last points are actually a good place for us to stop anyway. So thanks for joining us for our Infor Lawson discussion today. I hope you'll check back in next time as we continue our review of the top HR solutions and stay focused on the examination of the intersection of HR strategies, processes, and technology.